Hello, everybody. Welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast where resilience is not just a concept, but a lived experience. I'm your host, Thomas Scaria, a resilience coach, an ultramarathoner, and a relentless believer in the human spirit's ability to rise. This podcast is a companion to my book, Resilience Plus Rise 26.2 Transformative Miles to Unleash Your Marathon of Life Mindset. Each episode is a raw, unfiltered dive into the story of those who have faced life's hardest battles and emerged strong. Today, I have the privilege of talking again to Dr. James B. Golden. He's the founder of Golden Global Enterprise, where he advises organizations navigating growth, complexity, and transition. His work focuses on strengthening leadership systems, clarifying strategies, and aligning people. Dr. James is not only an award-winning writer, but he's a passionate advocate for all individuals. He has an approach of an holistic leadership and continually facilitates connection to our greatest gift within all of us, humanity. But when I think about Dr. James Golden, it's more about his passion for education, the way he's promoting it, advocating for it. So before I can go on and on about it, Dr. James, welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered and great. It's great to be back, and I really appreciate it.
Fantastic. So, as for the last line, what I just mentioned, and in fact, one of our last conversation we had was your passion towards education. Why does it matter so much for you?
I'm a product of education, and I don't think it's education in the sense of you have to get all these degrees and have $1 million in student loan debt like I do. I think it's about the constant pursuit of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to use that knowledge not only to improve yourself, but the people around us, the world around us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters. Education is the vehicle. There's a reason why in America, when we were dealing with slavery from the 1600s to the 1800s, they did not want the indentured servants to be able to read.
Mm-hmm.
That's freedom.
Okay, but now when we talk about the recent past or the present, in our conversation priorly, that you came from a very challenging background, wherein you realize the key to unlock many doors was education.
Yeah, I think one, I had parents who would whip me if I didn't do well in school. Okay. But part of it was I really admired what my mom was able to do in getting her master's degree. And, she came from really humble means. She grew up in South Bend, Indiana, and lived with my incredible grandmother, but they didn't have a lot of money. And I think, I was able to see her get education and then give back to the community as a therapist and as a social worker. Okay. And I wanted to do that. I saw it as a vehicle.
But again, as I talk in my Resilience Plus Rise podcast, from our deepest of wounds comes our deepest of purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, you are having your own strategies about leadership. But when you talk about education by itself, especially when you're formulating the plans about using education and providing education to different segments of the society, it goes back to what has pushed you to breaking those boundaries. Because I have known there are many people who have done their masters, PhDs, and doctors, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But I may be able to count the number of people who convert that knowledge to education.
I got you. There's people who need us. And we don't live on this planet that long. And I've been through enough where I understand that I don't need to be a billionaire and learn all this stuff so I can pad my life and sit on yachts all day. There are people outside of my door who are in need, who are unhoused, and who are coming home from jail and prison. And there's little kids that need to be able to look up to a young Black doctor and to think, I can do that too. And a lot of times we leave our communities, we leave our people behind. And in LA, I'm from Los Angeles, we move to Beverly Hills and we go up in the hills and we disappear. And we're at Whole Foods every day. I am not that person. I am about the people. And if I can leave this earth knowing that my pursuit of education, but then my ability to educate people could help them live better lives, then that feels like a life well lived.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned about LA, Beverly Hills, etc. In the current situation, what's happening around in US? What's your take on education and why it is a paramount need?
Good. So on behalf of the United States of America, let me apologize for the behaviors that you guys are seeing. It's very painful to be here in Black skin right now. I am optimistic that education has the ability to provide freedom. What I see today, and no blame to anyone, but there's a lack of civic education and a lack of reading really across the globe. Literacy has to be paramount. That is how we will free ourselves. It is not going to be from watching YouTube videos. It will be from studying and taking a pen and sitting down and reading concepts and understanding them and applying them to our lives. When 1984, which is a book that perfectly explains America right now. Okay. The whole purpose of the Orwell book is to tell people literacy will free you, and to let people know that you must learn about what's happening civically where you live. We cannot be global thinkers and have emotional intelligence if we are worried about self and self-preservation. We have to think about everyone universally and to buck the systems that try to oppress us.
How that was a very well-founded thought. When you're handling as a coach or as a strategic leader, how does this align with the corporates or the people that you meet?
As far as the literacy and education,
Yes,
or yeah, so everybody that I work with, and I have a lot of different types of clients, but they everybody I work with, they all are looking to change the world in some way. We always study together. We read books together. I ask them who they're motivated by. I don't get into politics, like life is political in and of itself. And so I'm more interested in our interior lives and what we can absorb together, what we can learn from each other together. So with my clients, it's very much we will read certain books together and we will talk through them, and we'll both be impacted, but more so for them, they get to have a different understanding of their purpose and the abilities that they have through their companies to make changes in the world, or just skills that they can learn that will help them to be even stronger leaders. So that's really, I think, how we tend to look at education. But I challenge everybody who has a business or who has a platform to make it related to something that can benefit society, that can benefit our world, that can reduce the carbon footprint and can help us to evolve as a human species on this planet.
Wonderful. There is one point which you just mentioned, evolve as human species. I get into the next point is about humanity. And the fact that you have been working for education, you're working with strategic leadership, you're working with different clients, etc. As a string that flows around, what has been few of the painful moments that you observe in the lines of humanity in today's world?
Say that first part one more time.
What are the painful aspects or painful strengths that you observe for people to evolve as humans or in the field of humanity?
Yeah.
What are few strengths that you observe? And of course, we try to make a difference in a small way. But when you look at sometimes at the bigger picture, what are the painful reminders that you can see right in front of you?
And I don't have to think far, and there's plenty of them. We can look at the news every day. People are suffering in America, and a lot of people don't know it. And it's not just on one political side, it's across the board. When I look at the number of children who are being killed in school, when I look at the incessant violence that's happening globally and the unnecessary wars that are annihilating groups of people, and when I look at the treatment of immigrants who have been essential to the survival of America, we're not okay. And it's easier to see the effects and the outcomes versus to deeply understand the symptoms and what causes those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody thinks they're right here, and what people don't understand is that you're not right. There is a universal right, and it's treating people with respect. So when I work with anybody, I think I'm bringing that same attitude there, which is we have an opportunity in some way to make this world a little bit better. And yeah, you can't end all wars, or you can't probably feed every person, all 80,000 people who are unhoused in Los Angeles, but you can make a difference to the people on your block today. And so, like, if we can all do that, and if we can all make that just a small part of our mission, we won't have to turn on the news and have anxiety attacks.
Is there anything else that comes to me? That was a wonderful thing, is that rather than looking at globally, just looking around and seeing how you're making a difference, that would be a small step to a larger view. Are there any other elements, specifically with your background and as a strategic leader or working towards humanity or education, are there any other elements that comes to your mind that it would be better only if?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's going to depend for every organization and company.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a mindset piece. I write a newsletter every Monday on LinkedIn. It's called the Global Golden Mindset. And it's for leaders to switch their mindsets. There are so many ways that people can make change, and it doesn't have to look the way that Oprah did by opening a school. It doesn't have to look like, donating millions of dollars. What I think is going to be important is that we need to shift our mindsets to believe that it is our responsibility to make this planet sustainable and to support a universal consciousness with all people on this planet. If I see Thomas as myself,
Mm-hmm.
then I am going to make better decisions as a leader versus if I see Thomas as a commodity or a means to an end or the little person in my company, then I don't have any problems making unethical choices, which then create all of these other things that we're talking about. So I think that's really what it is. Is we need a global mindset shift, and we need to remember who we are as human beings. We're not here to take from each other. We're here to give to each other.
Wow. Dr. Golden, that was just a small synopsis of a masterclass in how to make ourselves grow. I'm not even using the word develop, but make ourselves grow. And I know that you have been involved with many projects since we've been speaking since last year. And could you tell the audience what are the different projects that you have been working on? And guys, incidentally, I will be putting Dr. James V. Golden's website in our comments below, or just connect with him through LinkedIn or Instagram, etc. And he's always ready to give a listening here, wherever you are from. It doesn't have to be in LA or in Beverly Hills, any part of the globe.
Anywhere.
And he's ready to reach out and see if he can give a helping hand. He may not have all the answers, but he sure can direct you to people who may have few answers. So what are the different projects that you've been working on, and why does those projects matter to you?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've had several projects over the last year. Last year, I did a speaking tour around America, which I'm glad I did. It was at the beginning of this current administration's presidency, and I got to go around and talk about culture and ethics and how to build companies and schools that are ethical and that are equitable. And so it was an honor to be able to stand up and do that. So I'm still speaking. I get asked to speak a lot and to do some master trainings. I think right now, some of the big projects that Golden Global Enterprises is focused on is one, helping leaders with their mindset shifts. So a lot of coaching, a lot of business planning to help people to build more sustainable businesses. And we have some initiatives where we're trying to end homelessness completely in Los Angeles. And
Wow.
we've called
that's a huge undertaking.
It's very huge, but I went on my birthday last year, I went and spent 2 weeks in the desert without a cell phone or the ability to talk to anyone. And I meditated 14 hours a day. And when I left there, I felt this really strong call to support people who are unhoused. So we're doing that as a company in many different ways. Some of it is helping change agents who are launching their organizations that are going to impact homelessness. We're helping them to be strong. And then we're just partnering with the city and some other entities. So that's been in my world. I'm always writing. So I have a couple books on deck. One is on grief, which we talked about last time. And then I have some other socio-political commentary, and I'm really excited. Golden Global is doing some great things this year.
Okay. Guys, if you think Dr. James has got everything worked out for him, no, he just touched a small word called as grief. For people who have had or listened to our previous conversation, you'll know what's the grief that he's talking about. Grief in growing up, and currently the turmoil that he's faced around. What's there? Would you want to just touch on those topics a little?
Yeah, you wanted me to touch on it?
Yes, please.
With grief in particular, I think, it's interesting. I just wrote a poem for a dear family friend of mine who's like an uncle who passed away a couple weeks ago. And it just reminded me that we're never done healing. And so when I think about grief, it flows like a river. And a lot of times we just believe that it's something you do and then it's over. It's like, no, this is the human experience. And it's a big part of who we are and how we live the rest of our lives. So I look at grief differently now after losing a million people that I cared about. But it doesn't make the pain any less. It helps me to cope differently and to see them differently. Now I tend to see people I lose as angels, and it gives me a resilience, resilience plus rise. It gives me a resilience to carry on and to do more. And I just believe that with every person that leaves here, I'm able to do a little bit more because now I have them carrying me. And so that's one way that I think about it. But I want us to have a different relationship with death and to see life as ongoing and beautiful. And we never really lose anyone. They're always with us. And I know
Mhm.
that's kind of cliche, but it actually feels very real to me. We keep their memories alive. We take the parts of them that were beneficial to the world and to humanity, and we keep moving on. We use them as a motivation to be better, and we remember them.
Fantastic. Wow. What I'm amazed is that in this short span, we spoke about education, we spoke about socio-economic commentary, we spoke about lifting humanity, we spoke about grief. Just as parting thoughts, do you have any suggestions to the listeners?
I think to listeners in America, keep your eyes open and pay attention. Don't go to sleep. This isn't a normal time for us. This is a time that will be written about historically hundreds of years from now. And we need to make sure that what we're doing in this moment will honor our legacies years from now. But I think globally, and to everybody, anybody who's watching, keep your spirit high. Like, I think what I've learned from everybody that I have read or look up to is that no matter what happened in their lives, the real goal is to maintain a high vibration, and it is to continue to be resilient regardless of what you're going through. So don't let these people or what's going on break you. We are beautiful humans who can do this together. So that's my message for everybody, at least for now. It might be something different tomorrow, but that's where I'm at today.
Fantastic. Dr. James, thank you so very much for your input in such varied topics. I believe it has been, at least for me as the host, it has been absolutely enlightening for your point of view on what's been happening around, what's your take on it, and what you believe can help the people to grow further. So, guys, in case you got any comments or you got any questions, etc., do put it out in the comments below or reach out to Dr. James. Or if you just want to follow his newsletter, which comes out every Monday, please feel free to subscribe to the same. Dr. James, thank you so very much for your space and time.
Blessings.